You see this place? Barren wasteland, filled with zombies, what's left of humanity, and whatever this is. It didn't used to look like this. There were all kinds of birds and livestock just hanging out. I have to say it was a simpler time.
No, reporting live from home.
But you know what, screw this, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about how good it was back then. I'm gonna survive 100 days in this world in hardcore mode, and I'm gonna bring all those things back. As a matter of fact, when I'm done with this place, there'll be cars, buildings, guards patrolling. I'm gonna bring civilization back. But easier said than done. Every 10 days there'll be a raid that I'll need to prepare for, and the zombies will evolve until, well, one of these guys show up. Anyway, this pack is available on CurseForge, and I've pretty much covered all of the features in this video, so go check that out if you want to try it out yourself. But that's enough tomfoolery. It's time to delve into this hellish world and prepare for the worst that's yet to come. This is 100 days of hardcore apocalypse. I spawned in a terrible spot. There were zombies all around me, so I have to turn around and start running for my life after 5 seconds of being spawned. I ran to the nearest house and there were roughly 1 million zombies inside the house. I ignored them and went upstairs to get the loot. I got my first melee weapon, which is really important, because these zombies, yeah, you can't punch them. I mean, you can, but it does nothing. And I think that's kind of realistic, right? Because who in the world can punch someone so hard that makes people fly off their feet? Either way, I grabbed all the loot and jumped off the roof.
Why?
Yeah, let's not talk about that one. Seeing that there's a school structure nearby, I went inside and looked for the loot. But what I found was much better. Survivors. Yes, as you can see, the survivors are Team Fortress 2 characters. But I didn't choose them because I'm a TF2 fan, okay? It just so happens that these guys are the most sophisticated gunmen that I can find in Minecraft mods. With the help of these guys, I was able to get off this building and started clearing out the area.
Where's the medic?
These guys ran out of ammo really quickly and they started punching the zombies, which was surprisingly effective, but it also got most of them infected and killed. Okay, I did kill some of them, but that's only because they're infected. I mean, if I don't do the job, the zombie virus will, so yeah. Regardless, these guys put up an amazing fight until the end. I wanted to make a gravestone for each one of them, but as I learned later on, there will be too many to count. I went back to the school to collect what's left of it, and somehow the medic, who I presume to be the first one killed, is still there.
Oh my god, you're still here! Out of all the people, I didn't expect you to live. Seriously.
I spent the rest of the night killing zombies, and I went to the structure and grabbed more loot and ammo. I was gonna call it a day, but I was immediately awakened by the sounds of zombies. You see, sleeping in this mod pack is scary to say the least. You don't skip through the night like vanilla, instead you speed up time around you, so if you're not careful, you're gonna die in your sleep very easily. Because of this, I was on edge the whole night. In fact, for my entire time being here, I rarely have the luxury of being relaxed. So needless to say, I was too paranoid to sleep that night. As you can see, the grass patch around the lakes have already started spreading. That's because I kind of forgot to record the second and the third day. You may also finally notice that I'm using a more performance-friendly shader when I'm recording. Well, that's because my laptop is kinda bad and it can't really handle that much entities being loaded with shaders. So if you do enjoy these type of content, consider leaving a like and subscribe so that one day I may finally record 100 days with better shaders. Anyway, for these 2 days, my activity is basically confined with killing zombies, getting wood, replanting trees, and oh, I started a farm. Here I'm looking at crafting recipes of barbed wires. These things are basically what we are aiming for here. You can pretty much set up a solid base with good protection if you have these set up around your base. But before that, I gotta patch up these places, cause I'm pretty much dead if I get caught in one of these. Anyway, I killed more zombies, gathered more wood logs, and that pretty much sums up all 3 days. Day 5. I went inside a nearby apartment complex and found gunpowder. These things will allow me to make ammo if I ever come across a weapon store. As I was about to get down from the building, another horde was coming this way, and I spent a whole evening dealing with them. And no, that's not the only thing that I did that day. I also spent a lot of time in the farm and chopping down wood, which will probably bore you to death if I show you the clips. So I went to bed, and it's nice knowing that there's someone waiting for you. Day 6, I decided to get up a bit earlier and start exploring. I found this church ruin and also another horde coming my way. But this time, I learned a valuable lesson.
Holy shit, okay.
It looks like I was barely scratched and blinded, right? Well, no, this guy just hit me on the head, and that would have killed me if it wasn't for the half a heart I was left with. I went back to my room to get healed by my medic and went out to the horde. I dealt with them and picked up the loot from the church, but there wasn't anything special, which is quite depressing. Day 7, I've yet again been killing zombies over the whole night, but today I'm going to the giant blue base. Oh, did I forget to tell you? There are 2 types of survivors, your allies and enemies, and you can basically join either the blue or the red, and yeah, you can figure out the rest. I spent the entire day and night clearing out zombies outside the blue base, and trust me when I say this, that's no easy or fun task. Standing toe to toe with hundreds of creatures that have the ability to kill you in 2 hits is a very scary experience. Either way, on day 8, I pretty much cleared out the entire area. I don't know why, but these zombies started tunneling and that was slightly annoying. I patched up the base and went inside, and here they are, a group of highly skilled survivors. I didn't have time to catch up because I need to start fortifying their base. I put slabs here to make sure that the zombies will be at a level where the boys can shoot them. I also need to flatten this hill because it was blocking their sight. Then these jackasses came and started breaking my wood planks. Nice. Before nighttime, I wanted to get inside the supermarket, but nope. Day 9, I went back to the supermarket and was surprised to see that there were actually not too many things that were useful. There wasn't even ammo in the cabinet. There were, however, a lot of food items that lasted me for a long time. So I continued my construction until nighttime and slept early that day. Day 10. I added an extra layer of blocks to make it harder for the zombies to breach in. And why am I digging a— oh, it's a mine. I gave up halfway on the mine and started preparing for my first raid.
Alright, let's do this.
I took notes of where the moon will be when the raid started and prepared for battle.
Let's begun. Where? Which direction?
But no one was there. I looked all over and it turns out the zombies were breaching through the weakest point of our defense. My guys were standing around the door but cannot shoot them.
Oh, no,
what happens afterwards is a massacre.
Fall back!
They breached through with ease and infected a lot of my guys. I grabbed everyone I could and ran back to the base.
Get in! No! Get in! Oh my god, they found the weakest point.
I have no idea who was infected and who wasn't. The pyro cleaned up most of the zombies, but they started attacking from the other side.
Oh my god, where did it come from?
By this time, most of the survivors have already ran out of ammo and decided to melee attack instead. It was a brutal morning, and this heavy in particular fought until the last second. That was a heavy blow. If I can't even defend a raid on day 10, how am I supposed to be dealing with the raids later on that gets progressively more difficult? Day 11, I went on with my day like how I usually would, farming, gathering resources. I went inside the apartment complex again to get the end rod and was met with this abomination of a creature. Luckily it was quite weak, so I grabbed the end rod, placed it inside the building I was living in, and called it a day. Day 12, I decided to go mining, which was a terrible idea in this pack because it's almost impossible to mine without blocks falling on you.
Ow.
You need to have some stronger materials such as logs or fences holding up the ceilings, otherwise the caves will collapse on you. I got hit by collapsing blocks multiple times and almost died, but regardless I continued and I found a grand total of 4 iron ingots, and that's pretty much all the iron that I could find in this mineshaft for my entire time here. When I got up, it's already sunset, so I killed these husks who were waiting for me at the entrance, and I made some torches, went back down and found absolutely nothing, not even a cookie. Finally I made a lead in case I find any livestock and called it a day. Seeing that mining didn't work, on day 13 I just went exploring, and I found a no-no zone and I turned straight back.
Maybe not this way.
What's the no-no zone, you ask? Well, it's just a place that zombies run really fast and unholy creatures spawn in it. But it also contains some of the most important structures in the game, such as library or factory that are crucial for progression. Anyway, I started traveling and marking the path with wooden planks. I came across this red truck and found engineers being swarmed by zombies. Being the nice guy that I am, I immediately decided to go help. But then I remembered that I'm on the blue side, so I just dipped. As I was running through a crowd of zombies, I realized something. I may have set the spawn rates a little bit too high. I found another school on my journey and was happy to find who's inside.
It's the blue team.
I decided to bring them back to my base, but I can't see the wooden planks I marked the path with. Turns out they're all burned, cause wood is flammable. Why didn't I think of that? We traveled a long way until I found my way back, but by that time the whole team was either killed or infected. Since the pyro was infected, I left it there and brought the medic back to my base. But this medic seems to be mad at me. He was no longer healing me, but keeps sawing me in the face with his melee. Day 14, I found out I can make a spear, which has a much longer range and is a lot safer to use against zombies. Then this medic popped out of nowhere and continued sawing me in the face.
What? Can you stop following me and sawing me in the face?
Anyway, he disappeared shortly afterwards, and I found some salt ore under the lake. I didn't understand its importance back then, but it turns out to be quite useful. On day 15, I almost died.
Another safety asset? Oh no, oh no. Holy shit.
But besides that, I found a house with loot and slipped out like a goddamn ninja.
Whoa!
I found a guard tower in the same apartment complex near my house. Yeah, I gotta fix their spawn rates. Inside the house there was a grenade, and I have a great idea on how I can use it, but I'll save it for later. Now, you would have thought that getting a grenade was the best thing that I could find, but no, the next day I found a wounded engineer. These guys, they are probably the most useful survivors out of the 8 types that you can find. They can build sentries to defend areas, dispensers to replenish ammo and health, but they're also really stupid. Sometimes they would rather run at the zombies than to build something that can destroy zombies in 2 hits. Anyway, I grabbed the engineer and brought him back to my base. There was a few moments that I thought he wouldn't make it, but somehow he did. He started building right away, and I don't know if the medic realizes that his only job is being replaced by the engineer or what, but he just started shooting me for no reason. Day 17, I went outside to the farm and he somehow sneaked out and started healing me. This is adorable in a way, but this happened.
What? Ah, me.
I don't know how, but these things from the mutated zones just got here. Before I sleep, I got in this dried lake to get flint, but listen to this. It took me a while to get the stuff that I need, but eventually I made my first flint and steel. Day 18, I was still bummed out about what happened to my medic. I mean, he was my first friend, but I decided to collect netherrack to prepare for my next raid. I got around 43 of them that day and started setting up the arena. I made sure that the whole area is lit up so that I can see where the zombies will be coming from. On day 19, I gathered around all the zombies in that area and lured them to the red base. I threw the grenade to blow up the walls, and what happened next was glorious.
That work? I think that worked. Alright, it's turning to nighttime. I'll come back later to check on you guys, okay?
That night, I felt like an evil genius. Day 20, I went back to check how the red guys are doing. My goal is to have them kill off the zombie horde and I'll pick them off one by one. But as it turns out, I overestimated their abilities by a long shot. They couldn't even finish half of the horde. I mean, just look at how many zombies survived after the battle. I tried to get inside the base, but there were just too many zombies and I don't feel like risking it. So yeah, at the end it's a huge waste of my time. Fast forward to nighttime and the horde began to spawn. I thought that the zombies would kind of just walk into the fire. How dumb was that? Well, I still have a plan, which is knocking them into fire, which did not work at all because there are simply too many of them. But I was still hanging on, until I saw one of these guys. Now a true Minecraft veteran will know what this is, so I'm not even gonna bother explaining. But how was I supposed to beat this? It was supposed to be spawning on the 30th day, but I guess not because it's spawning right now. In spite of that, I was still trying. I mean, this was my home and I have to defend. Yeah, nah, fuck this, I'm out. I ran as far away as I can and I hope to god that they will despawn because if they don't, my life is screwed. I got back and hey, look, they're gone. I definitely didn't use any command, and even if I did, they were supposed to despawn anyway. I picked up the netherrack in the arena and went to bed, until I was disrupted again. Day 22. I decided to put up towers of netherracks with fire on top to mark my way. It proves to be a lot more visible than the wooden planks. I drew away the zombies from the structures and rushed over to get the loot. But the more places I go, the more zombies I gathered, and it becomes almost impossible to travel anywhere. Anyway, I followed the towers and went to bed. In the next 2 days, the same thing happened. I tried to get on top of this tower but was overwhelmed by zombies. I went inside this house nearby this tower and grabbed the loot, but this really isn't working. I mean, drawing them away takes too much time and effort. On day 25, I decided to take a riskier approach. I dropped off all the heavy items cause in this pack, having too many items can slow down your movements. The first house that I went to that day had an assault rifle inside. Finally, it feels like I'm progressing. I went inside this house and was almost killed again, but I circled back to get the loot and broke down the house. There were red survivors inside and I thought I could make them go out and kill some zombies for me, but they don't seem too keen on leaving. I found another house just like this, but this time it's the blue survivor's house. I opened up the door and they immediately rushed out to kill zombies. I was able to hold one of them back, and I even tried to bring him back to my base, but he got infected on the way, so I just let him go. Exhausted, I went back and prepared to sleep, but the engineer doesn't want to build anymore. I tried pushing him around, but he just doesn't want to work. On the next day, I used my parkour skills to climb up and loot the structures. I also found a hospital, but I didn't have time to deal with it, so I just continued running. Then I found a lava pool, which turns out to be very effective against zombies, cause they just run straight inside. I'm telling you, this is one of the most important discovery that I've made for my entire time here. So what I do is I round up the zombies and start killing them that way. One issue I found is that they sometimes pull it out of the pool, draining the lava inside. Another issue is that if I don't light up the areas around it, this can happen.
Ow. Okay, please.
But anyway, the lava pool was almost fully blocked, so I found another one and did the same thing for the whole night.
Haha, fallen.
Day 27. There's only a few of them left, so I finished them with my rifle and ran to the nearest survival base. I found a health drink, which gives me the regeneration buff. This is really useful because I can no longer get my bandages. Before I used to make bandages from clothing scraps that I get from zombies, but with all of them falling into lava, I can't patch myself up anymore. I also found a potion of night vision that will make the night slightly more bearable because I can't really see anything at nighttime. There was also an animal pen, but the zombies got here before I did, so... Anyway, I continued bringing zombies to lava pool and started day 28. I marked down the coordinates of the lava pool and headed back home. Yes, I'm using coordinates now, it just takes too long to mark down the path with netherrack towers. When I got back, I found this shiny zombie outside my base and it took me quite a few shots to take him down. I went upstairs to check on the engineer and sure enough, he's given up. he's not gonna build anymore. Day 29, I decided to fight the zombies on a platform above the lava pools. I made a few more spears and headed back to the pool that I was in. But then I realized there's a lava pool just outside my base, so I started making preparations and built my way up to the top. And yeah, this is the best defense I can come up with. Day 30, I decided to go mining a bit more, but it was quite useless because I can't mine blocks below Y30. Well, I can, but I'll be breathing in toxic gas. I'll need to make a gas mask to sustain myself down there, but anyhow, I built my way up to the platform and prepared for my third raid. When I got up, I heard burning sounds and I just know that I'm screwed. The lava burned down the entire pillar that I've made. How am I supposed to get down now? The raid started and I was not prepared at all. The zombies did not fall for my trap and started pillaring from the edge of the pool. I have never been so scared of Minecraft zombies until this raid. They were pillaring from all directions and breaking down my platform. I had to use the night vision to see what they're doing. But after time, the pillar that they made kind of blocked their way and I somehow made it through the night. I built my way across the nearest sand dune and finished off most of the zombies. I found this guy walking around the lava pool and I was just one step away from getting my ass kicked. I killed it and it dropped the hammer. Now I didn't have it on recording, but I swear that I didn't cheat, cause it was really easy killing him. You just gotta shoot it on the head a few times and burn it before it gets back up. But now I'm faced with a serious issue. I ran out of bandages. That means I need to look for clothing scraps from zombies. Day 31, I took the hammer out for a test drive. It was a good weapon, does decent damage and can damage multiple enemies at a time. The only problem is, the durability is unbearably low. I mean, I just broke it in a few swings. The next 4 days are really repetitive. I started digging a hole for a few days because I wanted to make a death trap, but I never even came back to this place, so I have no idea why I did that. Then I found a blue base and a lava pool, so I decided to kill off all the zombies before I get in. But guess what? The survivors decided to come out instead. I took some of them and tried to bring them back to my base once again, but sadly the only one who made it was the heavy. I spent the next 2 days clearing out zombies around that area. I went inside the base and was really saddened to see that there was no one left inside. I found some zombies that are walking really fast nearby and brought them back to the lava pool. I continued doing this and the days were getting so repetitive that I forgot something really important.
Okay, really bad news. I forgot today is the invasion day. I thought it was tomorrow, so yeah.
I got some wood logs and cobblestones and started pillaring above the lava pool. I am severely underprepared. I have no blocks, half of my organs and bones are destroyed. I genuinely didn't think I would make it. Luckily, the zombies in this raid were somehow a lot dumber than the ones before.
Maybe I don't need to do anything after all.
But eventually, they found a bridge connecting to the pillar and started invading from there. This raid was much harder to deal with compared to the ones before. There are multiple times that I barely escaped death. Regardless, I made it through the night through sheer perseverance. See, even the mutant zombie moved away to show a sign of respect. Seeing that there's another mutant zombie below the pillar that keeps summoning zombies, I know that I have to escape from this pillar as soon as I can. I gunned down the mutant zombie while it was being burned by lava, then proceeded to get down using the zombie's pillar blocks.
Run!
I did not turn back once and ran straight back to my base. I was pulling my hair out trying to figure out how I can deal with the zombie hordes. Then I found it. The Great Sword. This weapon is almost a perfect counter against zombie horde, and I feel so stupid for not using it for the last 40 days.
Okay.
On day 41's nighttime, I started killing hordes and found a structure with ammo and missiles inside. Now, if only I can find a way to fire those missiles, that'd be perfect. Over the next few days, I found another 2 survivors, who I tried to bring back but didn't make it. I tried going to a different direction to look for new structures, but was immediately deterred by ridiculously fast zombies. I was really lucky to make it out of that place in one piece. After a series of failed attempts at progressing, I decided to take a different approach, which is to straight up cheat. I got myself a weapon workbench, but in my defense, these things were supposed to be easily accessible in gun shops. But I couldn't find even a single one in my 30 days of traveling, and there's no way in hell I can survive without this thing. I made 6 stacks of ammo with the gunpowder and iron ingots that I've gathered. After that, I found a sniper hideout and started looting inside. But then I heard someone yelling.
What? There's a sniper here? Dude, come with me, come with me, come with me.
I brought the sniper back and hey look, we've got 5 survivors now. On day 50, this happened.
Whoa!
Yep, these things started to spawn. If you're not familiar with these things, they're called parasites. They're not as crafty or intelligent as the zombies, but they pack a punch. I was very lucky to be able to take 4 to 5 hits from this thing. And if it wasn't for the barbed wire that I've made, this series would have been over right this instance. I started setting up the barbed wires and preparing for the raid, and I've decided to do it in a small house near my base. And hey, look at me, I've got a beard now. I took down the stairs leading up to the 2nd floor and started defending from there. The first wave came and there were these flying carriers already.
Yeah.
If there is one thing that I need to be scared of, it's these things. They blow up when they get close enough to you and spawns these raptors that are really hard to deal with. With the parasites on the bottom, the only thing that I need to worry about are the flying carriers. Although there are only a few barbed wire set up, they prove to be quite useful as well. At the end of the night, I realized that it's much less stressful dealing with parasite raids. I mean, at least if you got a place set up. On day 51, I found a greenhouse structure and was greeted by an unbarreled zombie and a raptor. God, I hate these things. I went upstairs to open the loot chest.
Baguette. Nice.
I went on traveling just like usual, but found that the infected humans started to spawn as hordes. Now you may think that these things are less deadly than zombies because they cannot pillar or fly out of order. But you need to understand that the thing that makes Parasite dangerous is their damage output. Before zombies can kill you in 2 hits, but with these guys, they can kill you in 1 hit if you're not lucky. And even if they don't one-shot you, 1 attack is enough to cripple both of your legs. And by that time, you're just a sitting duck waiting to be slaughtered. Also, if they killed enough zombies, they can evolve into these things, which I have no intention of fighting. Then I went to the nearest base and prepared to sleep. Actually no, I decided to sit here with my back turned against the wall, because I was too paranoid to sleep, which ends up saving my life, so
Okay.
you know what? If paranoia saves my life, I'm glad to have it. Over the next few days, I've continued traveling, and I found that the parasites have a much lower detection radius, which you would think would be good, but actually sucks for me because it makes it so hard to group them together. I also found that I can cheese the hordes this way, which is probably the best thing that I could hope for. I just gotta watch out and don't let them evolve, cause if they evolved into flying parasites, it's really hard to deal with. After that, I found a scope to put on my assault rifle, which helped me see further. I got on top of this guard tower and grabbed some ammo and arrows. And here you may notice that the infected human drop iron nuggets, which is something that I have to configure because it was almost impossible to get iron. When I was cheesing the parasites, one of them suddenly built the way up.
What?
As it turns out, it was a zombie. Usually the parasite would attack them, but I guess they were too focused on me. At nighttime, I found another identical structure and hundreds of parasites around it.
Holy...
I also encountered my first evolved parasite.
That's a big one.
My attacks were barely doing any damage to it. I mean, just look at the time. I started attacking it at midnight, right? By the time I was done with it, it's already afternoon. If this is the indication of what's to come, I'm really screwed. I ran back to my base and started putting torches everywhere because parasites spawn in the dark. Yet, despite of all the torches that I've put down, there is still a few raptors spawning around the area, and that really got me paranoid. On day 60, I started preparing for the raid around this structure. I made a moat around the area and placed barbed wire all over it. I didn't have enough, but I had to make do. The raid started at midnight. Surprisingly, the plan worked wonderfully. The parasites were getting stopped by the barbed wire, giving me time to do damage to them. But since today, parasites can break blocks now, which makes them a lot more dangerous to say the least. When the invasion ended, I found a huge problem with my defense. Many of the parasites were stuck inside the moat, and they destroyed the landscape trying to escape. I almost died trying to collect loot in the moats, but luckily they can only hit my feet. But more importantly, just look at the mess they've made. In the next few days, I traveled around and collected some salt. When I got out of the place, I found a mutant zombie just hanging around. I think it must have been from the raids before. Anyhow, I left it alone cause I didn't have flint and steel on me, which means it would take ages to kill him, so I just dipped. I made a few gunpowder with the salt and charcoal that I gathered. Did you guys know that you can get gunpowder with charcoal, saltpeter, and sulfur? See? You can learn a lot by playing Minecraft. On the edge of the mutated zone, there was an abandoned campsite with loot inside. I got there and I have to say, of all the near-death experience that I have, this one is the closest one.
Okay.
I traveled a long way until I found a sniper tower, but I had no way to identify if they're blue or red. If it was red, I think I would be dead already, so I got over the next morning, and sure enough, it's just 3 dudes hanging out on the rooftop.
Hey guys.
I grabbed whatever food they have left and headed to the school. But on the way, I was met with 4 to 5 evolved parasites. The good thing is that although they get bigger, they don't actually get smarter. I can still kinda cheese them on this lock, though I have to worry about some of the other ones, such as the summoner, who summons smaller parasites such as raptors or other parasites that can fly. I was able to kill off all of them after a while and went inside the school structure to grab the loots. It kinda sucks that it's the red team space, but I found something that would change my life. A PDA. Now this thing allows me to build structures such as sentries or teleporters, or most importantly, dispenser, which gives survivors ammo to fire their weapons. I went straight back home overnight and started preparing the setup. Day 70, I set up the barbed wire, placed down the buildings.
Moment of truth. It's building.
And brought the
Sniper,
survivors to the base.
Scout, NG.
The raid started and we are all ready for what's to come this time.
God damn.
The survivors were surprisingly strong, and fighting this raid was one of the funnest things that I've ever done in this entire journey. We finished the horde with almost perfect record. There were almost no parasites left after the invasion. I was so happy to feel that I was finally progressing, so I made myself a grenade launcher. But I only had enough to make 2 grenades, so I looked for an alternative, a bazooka. I already have a couple missiles from looting before. Now I just need to have the redstone, red dye, and iron to make the bazooka itself. I also realized that I can use the teleporter to bring the snipers back from the sniper tower. On day 71, I made myself a gas mask so that I can mine below Y30. I went upstairs and found that the sniper was dying from the barbed wire traps. You know, I sometimes hate how stupid these guys can be. Anyway, I made another mask and mined until I found an emburrowed zombie. But also besides the zombie is the long-awaited redstone. I took a long time getting the ore, and I barely made it out without breathing in the gas. On day 72, I made red dye with beetroot and made my first ever bazooka. I felt like a kid who just got toys from Toys R Us, man. I took the bazooka out and started testing it.
Okay. That was really satisfying. But I gotta run now.
Then I ran all the way back to the sniper tower. When I got there, I was surprised to see that only one of them survived. Still, I was determined to bring one of them back, so I took out the PDA and destructed the exit that I've built. And yeah, that's right, you heard me right. I destroyed the teleporter back in the base accidentally. So this whole trip, it was for nothing. I need to walk all the way back to my base to set up the teleporter all over again. Anyway, at nighttime I went to sleep in a nearby house because raptors at nighttime are damn near invisible and I don't want to deal with them.
Okay.
Day 73. I wanted to make this trip at least worthwhile, so I decided to take on the red team, because they will sometimes drop their hats and weapons that I can both use and make trades with.
Still not coming out. What about now? Okay, they are there.
The battle was fierce, but I managed to take down the entire team. Unfortunately, they didn't drop anything useful, so I traveled further to look for more structures. I found a lava pool in a house nearby, and now that I look back at it, I really should have stuck near the lava pool. Anyway, I fired the bazooka again just for the fun of it.
That doesn't do as much damage as I thought it would do.
And by nighttime, I decided to go back to the house to sleep. But turns out it was a terrible idea, especially when I don't have night vision.
Okay. Maybe running back isn't the best idea. No!
And just like that, my life was ended. I didn't make it to the 100th day, nor did I recreate civilization. All that I managed to do was to set up a safe zone for the boys back home. I had dreamed of a world where survivors and villagers are just chilling in a fortress, guarded by turrets and guards. But I guess that's reality. No matter how strong you think you are, how precious your life is, you're still gonna die someday, and it's just a matter of when. I can only wish for the boys back home to finish my legacy, but who am I kidding? They're just a bunch of bots who don't have a clue what they're doing.